For consumers to consume sustainably, companies and organizations that regulate them have important roles to play. Since consumers cannot produce most of what they use, companies need to change their production models to offer products that are truly sustainable so that consumers can have sustainable options. In addition, companies need to stop greenwashing consumers. Some companies claim that their products are organic. This is really very important, the false claims, the pass-offs that are going off. So as many companies claim that their products are organic or natural, but in reality, they are really not organic or natural. Some companies claim that the raw materials and production processes are environmentally friendly when they are not. These unethical business practices are used to deceive responsible consumers into believing that their products are environmentally friendly and win their patronage. According to a report by TerraChoice Environmental Marketing, 98% of green label products are actually greenwashed. This calls for more careful regulation of manufacturers and service providers. Regulators need to ensure that not just final products, but also the production processes are sustainable. They need to ensure that claims made by companies regarding the degrees of the sustainability of products and services they offer are correct. Regulation of manufacturing industry and products imported into our country is an important function that needs to be reinforced in Nigeria. Given our level of development and geographic location, our vulnerability to climate change risks are high. Therefore, prevention is not only better, but also more feasible than cure. Consumer businesses, industry associations, NGOs, governmental organizations, and need to sincerely join the world in preventing climate change risks by formulating and implementing environmentally friendly policies at national, industry, company, and individual levels. Feedback Hall will continue to provide consumer intelligence required to formulate and implement important strategies and policies by connecting consumers and companies through a constructive feedback system as well as research. This year, Feedback Hall will provide support for people and companies who are genuinely interested in promoting sustainable production and consumption with a comprehensive nationwide consumer research on sustainable consumption, experiences, satisfaction with current products, and unmet needs, preferences, readiness, and willingness to pay for sustainable products, and more. Last year, Feedback Hall launched its annual digital consumer survey as part of its activities to mark the 2019 World Consumer Rights Day. The maiden NDCS covered 4 topics: end-user license agreements, digital crime, online shopping, consumer rights, and protection. The report provides actionable insights for consumers, companies, and regulation, and is available for free download on the feedbackhall.com. Ladies, gentlemen, the firm leverages its fast-growing community which has active members across all states of Nigeria and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, to provide reliable and actionable, difficult to find consumer intelligence at a speed that has not been usually thought of around here. Let me also say that it's important that we emphasize consumer education so that we can understand the consumption world, because most consumers don't have enough education to actually understand this play and to understand how their own best interest is advanced, not only with advocacy, but by use of tools available, such as one from Feedback Hall. I also think that it's important with the coronavirus challenge around the world to bring to the consciousness of consumers and producers the fact that our world is so linked, this globalized world, that concern about consumption habits and production habits is not something that we can just talk about in small patches, because the consequences have gone global. Just imagine even something like hand sanitizers and the distribution and the what has happened around the world in the last few weeks. I came here in a car with somebody who just got in from London through the US day before yesterday, and they were joking about a fight in a mall over. He first of all went into at the airport, went into one of the shops, tried. He saw sanitizers, so he packed as many as possible. And they said to him, please take it back. You can buy only one at a time. The only reason you see them available is that we're insisting that people don't take more than one. So he took the whole thing back and bought one. And only to arrive in the US, and two people had gone into a major fisticuffs in a mall because one person wanted to pack what was available. The other person said, let me take one. And he resulted in a fight, and police had to come and all of that. So those things all remind us of the key to responsible and sustainable consumption in challenge times. And that is part of, I guess, what the world becomes more and more sensitive to times like this. So thank you for listening. And I think that if there are any particular questions, we'll respond quickly to them.
This, I remember it was sometime 2018 August that the paper called, and afterwards we don't really so much about it. So I would like to know what have you been getting feedback on that? How vibrant is it, and how are people responding, and how many of such cases, if actually people were sending in feedbacks on the app, how many of such cases have you been able to address and so?
So first of all, there have been a number of activities. I was present at a considerably attended workshop in Enugu during the course of last year. There was the last Lagos Chamber of Commerce annual expo, trade fair. And a lot of attention, people came to the stand. And then, of course, there's been feedback from the electronic platform. Perhaps Dr. Chugukanu can say a thing or two there, but that has been going on. And then this is a product of that effort, this publication. It's covered the territories I referred to in the remarks that I made. The Nigeria Digital Consumer Survey for 2019. Because a lot of this is going on online, and the survey tries to capture some of that.
Okay, since we launched in 2018, we have been trying to create awareness about the platforms, and we have done a number of activities. As he said, we started the Consumer Connect, which is supposed to go around the states. We started with Enugu State, and this year we plan to expand that model to every state. We want to do some physical campaigns beyond what we do online. We have our social media handles, and we have been creating awareness through those social media handles. But we also feel that there is need to have physical events, and we started that with Enugu last year. We want to reshape that model and take it to other states. We have used the feedback we got from our users. Within the first 1 year of launch, we had about 5,000 registered users on the website. As of today, we have up to 6,000 feedback. From that number of members of our community. They've given about 6,000 feedback to different companies. We are also trying to tell companies to come online and see what your customers are saying. What we try to do is to create a constructive feedback system. While companies would say that they have feedback platforms, they have suggestion boxes and all of that. But what we are doing is to make giving feedback easy. So if I go to a bank and I leave, I don't have to go back to that bank to look for the manager to complain or to give them or to commend them, because actually feedback can be positive or negative. And so I don't have to go back there. I can do it wherever I am. I can do it in my kitchen, in my room. And so that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to make feedback easy for consumers to give and for companies to access. And we want consumer information and experiences to be open. It's that openness that we're trying to create, because we also want consumers to see what other people have experienced and then from there make better choices. So that's how far we have gone. We got feedback from these 5,000 people, and we are using it to also, we are taking it as feedback ourselves to recreate our system and develop our mobile app, which is going to be launched end of this month. So we believe that with the mobile app, we will be able to reach more people and be able to achieve more.
I would just like to ask, looking at the work of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, how do you assess their work, their activities since they've been created? And you want to say they've been able to scale up their control mechanism such that we don't get all kinds of things in the country, and things that are not properly regulated and being cheated into the country and all that. So what do you say about them since they've been created and they really want to gain? What are the challenges?
We'll provide perspectives. She will also come in with a perspective. I think that it is important to note that the formal government involvement has been evolving. It was very hot in the 70s, gained ascendance. Advocacy was very strong in the 70s, 80s, and I was actually quite involved in that early. There's a lady who was in Daily Times at the time, was a consumer affairs editor, one Mrs. Agbeke Ogusonwo. She later moved to the civil service, became a permanent secretary in Lagos. She was really at the center of creating interest in consumer rights and advocacy. But after a period, things seem to have gone cold. But in recent years, with the work of the current DG, what's that his name? Who is Eruka? Yeah. Who is a lawyer, yes, by training and has an American background. He's trying to put systems properly in place. I hope that they can now get more aggressive with the systems being put in place, but they have to coordinate effectively with various stakeholder groups to make their work really be effective. So it's an evolving scenario. Okay.
Yeah, I think I agree with him completely. It's something that they need to take time to restructure the organization to deliver the mandates of the new FCCPC. And I believe that they are working on it.
Again, recently, the NAFDAC is in the process of coming up with a draft regulation and limits use of the trans fats as in our foods, especially packed products and all that. I think they are in the process currently and they are calling for contributions from stakeholders. So, looking at that draft regulation, I want you to speak to how that will also help to further push for the rights of the consumers in the country.
Well, thank you for the question, because it leads me back to something I was going to say that I didn't say in response to your first question. First, it's important to have coordinated efforts by public agencies that all deal with consumer needs and rights, in manner of speaking. You have Standards Organization of Nigeria, you have NAFDAC, you have all these regulators. Somehow they need to have a working platform. And then, very importantly, they need to be able to engage the consumers. One of the great benefits of feedback call is that they have a platform that they can actually use to get this customer feedback. What is coming into the feedback call platform, they can use to derive inputs from which they make some of the decisions that they make. I think that it is a good thing that we have the leadership we have at NAFDAC now. Interestingly, I have known Professor Adeye. We were both in the university together in the early 70s at the University of Nigeria. And I've had occasion to talk with her since she returned to Nigeria more than once. And I think that, if someone like her gets the appropriate support, that they are going to be able to identify this clearly, no question that we are, what's the right word, far behind where we should be. And she's sensitive to those. And she's trying to, fast-track legislation and activity that will educate consumers and help reduce inappropriate products, if we will, in our markets. Her recent remark about the level of fake and unacceptable products in the market, I think, is a telling one. And so she needs to be able to coordinate with certain intelligence gathering agencies and platforms that can facilitate the work that needs to be done here. Any comments?
Yeah, no.
There's this, when you talked about feedback calls to provide support for companies, right? How do you want to go about it? Are you going to create the platforms for them to apply, and which kind of companies? I want you to talk about that. And when you were saying reading statements,
Okay.
make mention of that, providing support for all
Yes.
stakeholders. So
Yes.
you can talk more about the needs, please, to expatiate some of that and how you hope to go about it.
Yes, what we do for companies, we said we will support companies, regulators, and any other person or groups that are interested in promoting sustainable consumption with research. We have promised that we're going to conduct a comprehensive national consumer survey.
Surveys.
Yes, on this important topic, sustainable consumption. We will be inquiring or investigating what consumers want, their unmet needs with regards to these sustainable products, whether they are willing or ready to pay for these products actually, because they have to be able to buy them. and their experiences with the product, and so many others.
And then, of course, the platform is accessible to the companies themselves. They can access information on the platform and engage and find what the feedback is on their products. And therefore, incorporate that feedback into what they do.
So companies have free access to the platform. Everybody has free access. Every company, every product has a page on feedback or where consumer feedback collect. And so they can always go back and take feedback. Feedback is like light. It just shows you what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. And we think that's a great support for the companies too.
Okay. Well, let me thank you very much. Trouble, I think we have copies of the remarks so it can facilitate your work out.